Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we're going to try a new plugin called Tape Fiasco 2. I learned about this plugin from a YouTuber, Amago Meri, if I'm saying that wrong, forgive me. But they really showed off this plugin in a really dope way, and I want to thank them for that because I bought it the next day. So thank you for that. All right, so this plugin is called Tape Fiasco 2. What we're going to do is build a melody and then run it through Tape Fiasco 2. Now the interface is kind of to where you don't understand what stuff is, but I think that's good for the nature of the plugin, which is you want to be more random and experimental. You don't want to be so calculated in the way that you go about this. So I do like that aspect, how it's just random. What we're going to do is start off with some basic stuff. So let's go to FL Studio. We're going to use some stock plugins here. Let's open up Poison and let's move the plugin out the way for now. And let's go to preset, go to default. So now we have a sawtooth. It's my piano. All right, let's record some chords in here and just, then we'll arpeggiate the chords. So let's do C minor, C sharp minor. All right, so now we have a cool little melody. Let's put that in there. Let's hit Shift Q to quantize those notes. We're just going to remove any overlaps just in the case the FL Studio has overlapping notes. Now let's see what it does with the sawtooth. Because I have no idea what this plugin actually does, we want to just listen to what it does to a sound that we're familiar with, and then we'll start shaping it from here. So here's a sawtooth, very buzzy. So let's run it through just the default tape effect. Now I have no idea how to turn this on, so I'm just going to click on stuff. All right, so this is clearly a time warp. Okay, it seems like it's chopping the audio up into grains and then tuning it. Now it's going to be really dope for trap melodies. Now, let me see if there's let me see what happens if you blend that. That's a little difficult to line this up, but let's. So it looks like we can change the timing of the stretch tempo. So I'm blending it in so I could try to hear. So I have no idea what I'm doing here. But again, I think that's what the cool part about this plugin is. I have no idea what it's doing. And that's exactly how sound design should be. You should use your ears. I do like that effect. It just, we're probably on more of a string sound. Let's try okay, there's a sequencer. I have no idea what this is, y'all. I'm just clicking stuff. So it looks like if to turn this on, everything turns on. And then this seems like the octave or the pitch stretch. So let's do like a granular approach. So let's do 2 octaves up. And this seems like a fine tune for the thing. Let's just leave that alone. So stretch grains, these determine the size of the blocks, the audio blocks that we're chopping the samples into. So finer grain is going to give you more of a smeary sound, basically. And choppier blocks are going to give you a clunkier sound. Let me turn on just the effects so we can hear. So I think this effect so far is meant to be 100%. I don't think it's meant to blend, at least not from what I just did. Let's just make sure this is in tempo. There is a little delay, and I think that's because of the time. So let's switch this. That's a little tricky because if our melody starts on the downbeat and if there's a small delay, that could throw things off. Not that it's a big deal, but just something to note. So the more grains we have, the more, smeary sounds or phasey, I'll say. And this is the panning of those grains. I wonder if you can automate this. So you can right click and create macros. So that you could tell this came from like somebody who's obsessed with this. You could tell this came from somebody who's a true scientist of just obsessing about sound. And that's what I love is like plugins built by music producers who know what it's like to be a music producer. you could tell this plugin is not just some company just shoveling out stuff and repeating things. This is like a deeply thought out experiment. So I'm going to keep it there. Now this is the stretch scatter, I assume. This is how the pitch applies to the grains. So this tuning up 2 octaves, this scatters and makes it more random, it seems. Okay, so there's a mix level. See mix. Oh, here's the mix level. All right, here's the mix level. So this reminds me so far of Transporter by FL Studio, where you can granulize and add like a delay, and then you can widen it out. So a pretty similar sound there in terms of that effect. Now let's add the stutter. Okay, so now I get it. It's like 1 row here. I get it now. I didn't know this is the mix level, so that makes more sense. All right, so basically the workflow is, adjust stuff to the left, fine tune it on the right. That's kind of how this experiment seems so far. Let's add the stutter. So what I do love is stutter, especially on underground music. So it looks like even more pitch bending. That's hard. I've never seen that done before, where it's like, I guess I have seen it done, but I never thought of it that way, which is like a sequential pitch bending. It's almost like sample and hold, but using a pulse wave to determine the pitch bend. That is actually really dope of a concept. I'm debating how I want to do this now. I do like the grains, but I think the grains are causing the ear to get latched onto that pitch too much. So let's turn off this section for now. I'm still hearing grains, so I don't know if I did that right. Maybe that was just leftover. So now I can experiment with different keys. It's really smooth. This time stretch is really, really, really smooth. I like this approach. This is super dope for underground beats if you guys are getting into that. I don't know what this means. It says stutter capture. I don't know what that is. Stutter duration. Okay, so this looks like a gate. And then linear or logarithmic, basically how the stutter curvature works. Okay, and then we have a stutter gate like envelope. Okay, so we can create it more dynamically instead of just like a pulse wave. I kind of like the pulse wave type stutter. That's cool though to add dynamic, is to add a little sawtooth. Let's widen it out. All right, let's put it on sync mode because right now it's kind of hard to. Okay, so that's a crossfade. Let's see what happens if we blend it in. Now, it'd be cool to double click and type in values instead of having to do this, but again, I understand it's their plugin. I'm not tripping. So I'm confused how the stutter wet level is down, but it sounds like more and more stutter. So that's where I'm a little confused so far. Again, not nitpicking. I'm just confused on how to do this for you guys watching it. All right, so I'm not sure how to do that. So this says stutter link. So I guess stereo link. I don't know. Oh no. Let's see what this is. Stutter pitch ramp. So maybe a portamento slide type of thing. Pretty unique. Now again, I'm trying to get a sound I can actually use. I haven't gotten to that point yet, probably because I'm just clicking on random stuff. But I did buy the plugin, just letting you guys know. Okay, I like stutter delay. That's actually creative. So now it has a fading value per the thing. let's swap out the sound and see if it's just a sound thing. So now I'm going to create an envelope for a sawtooth using a cutoff filter. So now it's a little more dynamic and less like sawtoothy. Let's even add a little resonance so you guys can hear. Got a little unison. So far, I mean, can I say that I would use this? Not really, not yet. Let's turn on the... Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So it's just adding the little glittery things that make it sound a little more animated. So I think the best way to use this is to turn down the wet levels first and then start dialing in. I think that's the best way to use this plugin from my experience here. Because, you know, for the beginners, you know, this is, you know, you got to kind of know what you're doing in terms of... Now this is creative. It's like doing its own little half speed. That's pretty dope. So I do like the pitch experimentation here. Let's go to effects. So they even have more effects in here. All right, let's see. Let's do it. Oh, now this is where the sauce is. Okay, I was in the wrong section apparently. Okay, yeah, crystal resonance. What in the heck? We could pick the scale. So we're in C sharp minor. How do we do C sharp? Actually, I don't know what key we're in because we changed the key. Let me, I don't know. Let's just keep it here. I have no idea. This is fire. Oh, this is the sauce right here. All right, let me turn off vary speed so I know which key we're in. I think I'm in C sharp. Did we change keys? Wait, no, we're in octave, 2 octaves. Let me turn all this stuff off just so I can hear the daggone sound. Yeah, this is a creative. This is probably my favorite part, the crystal resonance. That's hard. It's just different. So now I can swap out the sound. Let's swap out for like an omnisphere sound just so we can see what this sounds like on like grand. Let's do E piano because there's still like one note that's like I can't figure out what it is, but we'll figure it out. Oh, maybe it's going up the scale like da-na-na-na. Let's change the octaves to 2. So it sounds like it's arpeggiating the input audio filtered, which is creative. Again, super creative. And then we could change the direction. Let's do random. Actually, let's not do random because that's too scattered. I'll turn it up just so you guys can hear. It's a little quiet. Let's just do upward. Okay, so you have to to hear this effect, you have to have the play button going because it's tempo based, so I guess that's why. So let's just play into it. I think that'll be better for today. Let's add a bit crusher. Let's add, whoa. Okay, there we go. Let's add some drive. Now we're cooking. Okay, so the time area, maybe I just approached that wrong. We'll come back to that. This is the sauce right here. Shout out to that YouTuber who put me on. Now we're in that sauce territory, y'all. let's try a new effect. This is the vibe. So lo-fi for experimental, like, yeah, this is the pocket right here. So I should have came here first. I didn't know. All right, let's do circuit bend. Whoa. All right, whoa. Let's pull this back. Okay, I have no idea what this is doing. Looks like distortion. I thought it was gonna be a pitch bending effect. So let's try some corruption. Definitely unique. Never seen anything like this. So let's just add these little glittery things. Let's do high quality on. I guess it oversamples or does like true peak sampling or something. Now I don't know what's causing that note because I'm not playing anything. Oh, is that the resonator still going? That whole time this is the resonator going. Okay, interesting. So this might be a little too bitey for the tone I'm going for. Oh yeah, it's way too bitey. That one, we're gonna have to come back to that. Now how do you remove it? Delete. Okay. All right, so circuit, did I click the wrong thing? Oh, I deleted the wrong thing. Luckily they have an undo button. Let's go for the undo button. All right, shout out to them. Harmonic exciter plasma. I like how they're like, okay, so this is like the plasma pedal, I guess. I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit. I like this texture though. Still kind of a lo-fi noisy type thing. I don't know what chord would go here, so I'm just guessing. This is to B, even though it's not the key. Okay, I need to get my chords together. Here we go. So again, the way I would use it is more of like a noisy thing, but it is very unique. It sounds very big. So again, they really thought this out. Now wave folder, I'm going to avoid that for now just because that's a little too heavy. Let's do format. So wow, I'm actually shocked how many effects they have in here. And these are like, when you hear format, you usually think the typical format, or when you hear resonance, you think the typical stuff. But this is like detailed in a way that a sound designer will love. It's not your typical run-in-the-mill approach. I like the weirdness of this plugin. So I'm not hearing this so far. Oh, there we go. Now this one I probably have to modulate somehow. I don't feel like figuring this out, to be honest with you guys. Let me see if I can do something here. Let's browse parameters. Usually in FL, when you move a knob, you can, it will highlight in the browser. This may crash FL though. We're gonna right click and link to controller. And I'm going to have it on auto detect. I'm going to move a fader. So now my fader on my keyboard will go through that vowel sound. Now to hear this, we got to crank it up. It's a little quiet. Let's crank it up. So now we can do that neo soul. Let's see if we can record this in. All right, so 86, we got to find a drum break that's at 86. Let's see who has drum breaks. Tammuz, where's Tammuz stuff? Can I move it? All right, I found it. Here's Tammuz. So we're going to go to his soul sessions and go to find something around 86. Let's go to soul sessions volume 2 breaks. And hopefully he did something around, he did something at 84. Close enough. We'll time stretch. Wait, okay, wrong one. All right, so let's use this one. So he's a really dope drummer. Recommend you guys go support his kits. And let's pull this back to 8 bars. So song, and now we're just gonna play over top of this with the keys as we listen back. So I'm gonna loop this for a couple. And let's record some stuffs. So let me debate what kind of chord progression I want to do. Or let's do. Let's do something like that. All right, so, and I'm gonna, now this is a little tricky. Oh, okay, here's what we'll do. what I'll do is I'll record the chords and then I'll go back and use the mod wheel to, or the fader to modulate that stuff. So let's just focus on chords. Wonder why this sounds, oh, I forgot our scale's different. All right, this is a lot to think about, to be honest with y'all. All right, so the scale, now we're not in F major, we're technically in A minor. We're gonna roll back to A minor. So let's do all the white notes for now. And we are going out of key here and there, so we might not be able to rely on that resonator, but it should be fine. Okay. So now we got the chords in there, and now I'm going to go record the actual modulation, starting at the lowest value. This plugin is insane. Who the F made this? How does your brain work? Holy crap. This is a sound designer's freaking... I don't want to mess with it. It's a perfect sound. I don't want to F it up. Let's just see what Prism does. I'm just curious what that does. So it's a multi-band filter. We can do spectral filtering, cone filtering. There's even more stuff in here. This plugin is just way beyond. Like for $30, that's nothing. This plugin should be 150 bucks. Like, I'm not even lying to you guys. This plugin is, if I had to put a word to it, imagine you guys know how Omnisphere is to the sound designers in terms of, the sound source. This, to me, is an indie version of Omnisphere, but in the effect version, if that makes sense. So this is like Omnisphere if it were an effect built by an indie. This is actually insane. Is that a little filter? Let's see if we can add some delay in here. I don't want to mess the sound up. I feel like the sound is just so perfect. I don't want to mess it up, but let's keep adding effects here. What is this? Let's have a little pitch wobble. I want to do left, right. Can we do pong? Yeah, we can do ping pong. Let's go. And it does reverse. Let's turn off the reverse for now. Let's do dotted eighths. Let me see, dotted eighth on the right side. Like, bro, this feels like authentic. Like, bro, 30 bucks is nothing, bro. If I knew it sounded like this, I would have bought it the first day I saw it. What in the F? Bro, this is insane. Shout out to the creator of this plugin. Holy freak. And then they got a master chain for y'all to where we can just add more gain. It looks like a compressor's built in. Let's add a little compression on here. Let's add a little highs. You know what's scary is that I didn't even go through all the effects. That's the scarier part about this. There's still an animation tab, performance tab. Oh, I could have performed the wobble. I didn't realize that. But either way, whose brain was behind this? This effect sounds super polished and super clean. Wow. I'm actually very shocked. I guess because I had expectations for the plugin, but I didn't have the highest of expectations. So now that I see everything it can do, I'm like, wow, they undersold this. Holy freak, yo. I don't even know how to let's see what else we could do. I'm trying not to mess up this vibe though. Let's maybe do like a lead or something like that. just don't want to mess up this vibe. This is crazy. I forgot what key I was even in. All right, I think I was in A minor, right? Yeah, all the white notes. Here, let's do synth lead. Let's see if we can find an R&B. Okay, so R&B. There we go. Let me just practice kind of. I'm not a good freestyle leader, but lead player. See, I'm gonna mess up this beat doing too much. Let me see if I can find some kind of string. I really don't want to mess this beat up. I know y'all like just play daggone lead, but for me, it's like such a dope sound. I just really don't want to sabotage the sound here. So man, that's how you know it's good, when you don't want to mess it up. I remember one time I made a beat so good when I was in the studio working with other drummers and bass players. I was like, I didn't have a verse good enough to be on the beat. That's how you know the music is good. When the beat is so good, you need like to have the perfect verse to fit on top. That's when you know the stuff is good. Let me see if I remember the chords that I played. So it was F major. All right, so I'm just gonna add little accents because if I overthink, then I'll start messing up. Let's turn off all the creative stuff here. We just want the technical mixing, nothing too creative. Let's hit Control L. Let's open up another tape Fiasco. Now again, this could go left. I have no idea. I'm trying not to overkill it. But this is, man, this is insane. All right, let's see if we can nail the chord progression. So here we go. F. The thing is, this is a little too low. Give me a sec, y'all. Just gotta change the octave. Maybe let's do 2 higher. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's just add some strings behind this thing. So I did F major into E dominant into A minor 11 into A major 9 or whatever that is, and then back. And just up an octave. So hopefully I can nail that. And then I did D dominant at the end. So hopefully I can play that in one shot. So now we got that. So again, I probably could really just could have copied and pasted the chords. Duh. All right, so let's run this through Tape Fiasco number 2 and see if we can get this to blend. If not, I just got to realize we're probably overfilling the beat here. Let's just tuck the strings down. Now let's see if we can make them do a unique thing that doesn't compete with the. I like how the strings became a rhythm. I like that. Just trying to get the tuning lined up. Because right now it feels like the tuning's not. Let's synchronize this. Let's do 1/4. That seems too fast. Let's try. Wait, is it on free mode or sync mode? Okay, my bad. I was in the wrong mode. That's probably what happened before. I didn't realize I was not in sync mode. Let's actually not pan these out. Let's gate the strings a little bit. See what time stretch does, if anything. So I think it just takes people getting used to that first use of it, and then they can kind of dial in. So now we have half speed. Let's see if we can blend this in. Let's go to effects. Give it a little more harmonic drive here. Still seems a little detuned, but let's not worry about that. We don't need a format filter on this. Let's do a spectral filter. Now this is hard. It's adding even more movement. That's a little out of time, but let's add it. Now let's add a delay. Let's see if we can add some chorus. Now we're trying not to compete with the width of the E-piano, but I just want to see what this does. So with the effects, I say just kind of try to speed through the effects, not harp on them too long. I feel like that kind of takes away. So this is still, let's add some feedback. So there's even different styles of ensemble. Holy freak. This company really went all the way in. Only thing is the volume's a little low, so let's turn up the gain. Let's compress. Now we have a really unique sound. We started from a string, now it's way different. That's some reverb. Let's add a long decay, long size. So far, this is crazy. Now we just gotta, something's throwing it off by like a hair. Can't find out what. I don't know what I did that threw it off. Again, this plugin does something that I've never heard any other plugin do. It just takes you into a whole different realm. This is just different. Shout out to them, man. This is really, really fire. Let's just tuck the strings down. Just don't want them to compete with the Yeah, safe to say this plugin is an instant invest. If you're looking to just get outside of your box when it comes to sound design, this is the box. This is taking you outside of the box. This is impressive. Wow. they definitely undersold this plugin. Shout out to Tape Fiasco. This video was supposed to be like 20 minutes long. It's like 40 minutes long. So subscribe if you're new, and go support this company because this is fire. All right, peace out, guys.